7th IESF World Championships in Seoul, South Korea at the Nexon Arena in beautiful downtown Gangnam. I'm Artosis alongside State, and we are about to show you the third place match for StarCraft 2.
And this is going to be a really exciting match coming up. We have Haas and EnDerr. Haas, the Taiwanese Protoss player, really aggressive, really calculated. EnDerr, the Philippine Zerg player, who I personally don't know much about his style, but having a really good run in this tournament.
Yeah, I was talking to some people, and EnDerr is actually, he's been like the best Filipino player for feels like 100 years now. Like every tournament like ISF or WCG or something, EnDerr is always popping up as the top Filipino every single time. And I was talking to Knight End earlier, the Romanian Protoss pro that's been around for a long time, who EnDerr actually defeated 2-0. He said EnDerr's playing very aggressively, definitely rushed him down quite quickly. So this should be a very exciting match between these two because it's going to be so action-packed.
Yeah, two really aggressive players going head-to-head, and it's really curious, like, who's going to get the edge in that?
You know, it's hard to say. Like, if you are trying to hit sharp timing attacks as Haas, I could see EnDerr getting some upsets here because if he's going aggressive as well, you're trying to catch the Zerg while they're droning. If he's not droning, if he's making the Speedlings and Ravagers, how are you going to kill him?
That's a really good point. Here we have the bracket. Had Mystery upsetting Haas in the semifinals on the left side of the bracket, and Cyril coming in, beating EnDerr, beating Aphrodite, on his way to the finals. That match will be tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. That'll be a fun finals, but of course, the third place has to be decided as well between EnDerr and Haas. Very notable that no Koreans left in that tournament. Aphrodite, the lone Korean representative, being knocked out in that round of 8 yesterday.
Yeah, and here's the set list. Set 1 on Prime Terraces, the gold-based map. This was a really big surprise to me that Haas didn't veto this. I'm expecting probably some kind of timing or all-in, some really cheeky play before the gold base kicks in.
You would definitely think so, right? Because this is a hard map for Zerg versus Protoss. It's any time that Zerg can get one gold base, that is a really big deal against Protoss. Protoss has a very hard time dealing with Zerg's golds, but this one has multiple gold bases that Zerg can take without really that much problem.
6, in fact. So many gold bases. And the second map, Arena, really interesting in PvP. We didn't get to see it in the last series, but in PvZ as well, it's also really interesting. You would expect, because of the close rush distance, it's really easy for Zerg to go through like some sort of like spawning pool very quickly and deny any fast expand, but actually the bridge is only one pylon across. You can block it with one pylon, so Nexus first is possible. We can see some really cute play with maybe walling off the bridge with the pylon on EnDerr's side of the map and then building a gateway behind that pylon and going for a timing attack, that kind of thing. So really interesting set list we have.
Yeah, certainly. I'm glad that we will get to see Arena this time as well because it is like kind of the weirdest map, I guess, out of all the maps with that strange little tiny path that you can go through. But we'll see what Haas has planned. Like, he has to have a cheese, though, for Game 1, right, on Prime Terraces?
Yeah, not vetoing this map as a Protoss player, going into the mid-game, Zerg can stay on such a lone drone count and have so many units out that it's really hard to do anything aggressively, and even just taking a third base because they can have so many Lings, so many Roaches, so many Ravagers. And so Prime Terrace is probably some kind of really early push. I wouldn't be surprised to see one base play.
I think you definitely could be right about that. Wouldn't even be surprised to see something like Proxy Gates coming into it.
Yeah, we've seen that before. I think Parting did that against Solar and DreamHack. So.
Yeah, I believe he did. Did he make the 3 proxy gates, if I recall correctly?
I think so.
Like he went adept in main base into 3 proxy gates or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty good idea. You know, you can just dismantle Zerglings so quickly with the new adept unit. So perhaps we'll see something like that out of Haas, but he definitely has to have some sort of plan for Prime Terraces.
Yeah, the first 2 maps, Prime and Arena, they're both really aggressive maps. Arena, it's really hard to take a third base as a Protoss player against Roach and Ravager timings because, one, the bridge is a really hard position to break with the Ravagers, what is it?
Corrosive Bile.
Corrosive Bile, thank you very much.
It's hard to remember all the
all the new
names.
units.
We're getting so many.
All the ability names. I played like 700 games, I still don't have it down.
No, I know.
But it's really hard to hold that angle and defend that third base, and then likewise, as the game progresses, because you're expanding further and further away in a straight line away from your main base, it gets harder and harder to expand and defend those bases, and so first 2 maps are really aggressive, and 2 really aggressive players playing on them. And then the third map, Dusk Towers, a really straightforward macro map, really easy to take 3 bases. So maybe things will settle down by then if we get to map 3. Hard to say.
Could be, but I think we're definitely going to see some fireworks right off the bat here. This has been the talk of the tournament, that we have these 2 hyper-aggressive players that got so deep into it, as opposed to the more macro-centric players. Even though, you know, these guys aren't in the finals, they're up here. They're getting
Top
points
4.
for their countries. They're getting some money. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're actually seeing a lot of success for really aggressive players too in Legacy of the Void, because harassment options harassment is just specifically so important, so much more than hard in this form in Legacy of the Void, and so players like Haas were really good with their Oracles and their Phoenixes and Adept, like any kind of play to bring your opponent's drone count down. That playstyle is going to come into effect really, really well for him in Legacy of the Void.
Well, hopefully we'll get this first game started pretty quickly. We do have both players ready in that lobby, so guys, get out there, let your friends know. It is just wonderful to be down here at the IESF 7th World Championships, casting a bunch of players from all over the world do their best at this brand new expansion in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, the meta is so new, and I don't think I've actually casted a PvZ yet here at the IESF.
No, we did TVZ. Well, I guess we had...
We did it in the Archon show match.
Yeah, in the Archon show match we did have a PvZ.
But that's an entirely different beast than 1v1.
It certainly is. The games definitely look different there.
Yeah, so I'm really curious about how Haas is going to approach this. Like, what is his game plan? Here we have EnDerr, the Filipino third player.
Yep, EnDerr, there he is. Definitely the Filipino hope in StarCraft 2. Quite a strong player indeed.
Very warm-looking jacket.
Yes.
It is cold here in Seoul.
Well, Philippines is really quite warm, so you definitely got to pack your warmest clothes. We're coming up to very cold Seoul. It's been freezing here for the last few days.
So many nations represented in this event.
Well, looks like we should get that game started in a second here, guys, and going to be an absolute blast. Who will be able to get that very important third place spot? We did just see another third place match in Hearthstone where our Filipino player unfortunately did end up losing 1-2 and got that fourth place. So maybe EnDerr can do a bit better here for his country.
It looks like we're getting ready for that match now. And Artosis, I have to ask you, who do you think is the favorite in this matchup?
I think Haas is the favorite. I think Haas is kind of a little bit more well-known overall. It seems like he has overall maybe like a slightly stronger play style, but EnDerr, I absolutely could see him upsetting this. He's a strong player. Even though a lot of people don't know EnDerr, I have seen his name pop up a million times at events like this. Like, he is always the best Filipino player. He is always hitting tournaments like this and doing better than you would expect. I mean, he's not someone that you can just overlook.
So if you were to make a map call, you would think 2-1 EnDerr?
I think it'll probably be 2-1 for Haas, but if it goes 2-1 EnDerr, I'm not going to be in shock. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe you won. I could absolutely understand that happening.
Definitely on the same page with you there.
Well, hopefully we'll get this game started pretty quickly. Look like there's a little bit of a problem in that lobby, so we're going to get EnDerr back in ASAP. But why don't you talk to us about PvZ a little bit? I mean, I've seen you play in a lot of PvZs, obviously, as a pro gamer out here. And what do you think about the matchup right now? Because I've heard a lot of Protosses whining.
Very good point. At the very start of Legacy of the Void, I felt like maybe the Ravager was too strong or the Liquor is too strong. But after playing more and more and more and you're starting to figure things out, it seems like it's almost becoming more of an even matchup, at least from my perspective. It's a lot more competitive. Like, we saw Parting in Solar, and almost everybody was expecting Solar to absolutely crush Parting in the DreamHack Finals, because everybody's talking about, oh, Protoss is so weak in PvZ, Circuit's so strong, Solar's the best player in Legacy of the Void right now. I think he's undefeated in tournaments so far. But Parting brought it to 4-3.
Yeah, he did.
Really close finals. So I think balance-wise, it's a pretty close match. It looks like we're actually starting now.
All right, excellent. Well, in the top left, our red Protoss from Taiwan, it is Haas.
Looks like he will be going for a while off. Very important CVP.
And his opponent from the Philippines, the bottom right, our Zerg player, is EnDerr.
No quick spawning pool coming out from him. I've actually seen that a lot in the Korean server, because the gold base is so easy to take, and actually looks like he's going to go and expand there now. Not
too surprised to see that, to be honest.
But I've seen a lot of really quick spawning pool play. Oh, he's playing really safe, actually. This isn't going to be... He's not taking the other gold, is he?
He's going to proxy hatch, perhaps.
Really? Oh my god.
Proxy gold base, the best of all worlds, I guess. Wow, okay. So.
Yeah, this is almost reminiscent of... Oh, what was the map in Heart of the Swarm in the gold base before it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, god.
I don't know why I'm blanking out on this. It was like the macro map.
Yeah, Overgrowth.
Overgrowth, yeah, yes. Absolutely. It's reminiscent of that. Yeah, it's reminiscent of that map where you would take the fourth base and you can go for some really aggressive play on the drone count with that. because it's so much closer to your opponent's natural expansion. And I think we're
Certainly.
actually going to see Haas is also taking the gold base. Both players are going fast to expand to the gold.
As we were talking about, these are two very aggressive players. They both have, they're both very brave, I guess, and very brazen in the way that they play StarCraft 2. So let's see how this goes down. But that wide open gold base, if EnDerr gets really aggressive, how is Haas going to hold on to it?
Yeah, I'm certainly expecting him to play aggressive too with that forward gold base. Like, there's no other reason to take the expansion there other than like maybe throwing your opponent off, but Haas is a smart player. I think he's going to read this after seeing the late spawning pool and know that this is going to be a proxy hatch somewhere on the map.
All right, well, we'll see where he's going to go with this. The Cybernex Core is getting started now. That spawning pool has finished up, so both players racing to get out some of these units and, of course, make their drones and probes and get those gold bases saturated.
Yeah, it looks like Haas is going to be able to scout this and building his zealot now, just playing very safely. Always necessary when taking that gold.
Well, Haas continuing to scout. Hasn't seen where EnDerr's base is quite yet, but he's about to find it here. And this should catch him a little bit off guard. Like, oh my god, you actually took this gold out in the middle of the world.
Yeah. And definitely, I would expect Haas to see this and think, okay, there's going to be some kind of aggressive play. But Haas being Haas, him being a very aggressive player himself, he might see this and think, oh, great, this is a really forward gold base. I can push this really easily.
Oh, that's really funny. But
it might almost be like a present to him.
You could be right about that. He definitely could look.
Yeah, and look at this. Yeah. Robo on the low ground at the gold base. He's very confident play. And like, look at the rally. If you were to rally like an Immortal, that would be at the gold base so quickly. So.
Yeah, it really would. But you know what? Zergling's speed is going to be finished up pretty quickly here. It definitely has a lot of Zerglings suddenly going into production. So definitely going to see some pressure here out of EnDerr.
Yeah, actually cutting workers now, and I'm not sure if this is the right move because while that is going to be a large number of Zerglings, like Haas has 2 pylons at his gold base already and a wall in his main base, so the wall at the main probably isn't going to be broken as long as the Adeptus stays on hold position. And at the gold base, I don't really see too many probes going down, so this might be more of a safety play, but after seeing the Robo, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's going to go with that, but let's see here. We do have a lot of Speedlings coming. He is making that Immortal, so it looks like he does want to go for an Immortal push.
Yeah, and at the same time, EnDerr throwing out a Roach 4, and this might be for fast Ravagers, and Haas already with his gold base fully saturated. No Evolution Chamber, that is not going to be a drop Overlord, but...
Well, looks like absolutely not going to get any damage done right there. Loses quite a few Zerglings, but going to go ahead and start attacking. This is almost too aggressive by EnDerr,
it's a little bit too aggressive. I don't think in any world they're going to be able to take down that Robo with the potential for 2 photon overcharges with just that small number of lings. But he certainly does know what's coming after seeing that Robo, seeing it chrono boosted. So we'll see what his response is going to be and how he's going to try and hold.
Well, when in doubt, take another gold base, I guess. He is forcing more energy out of that Mothership Core, but with the Immortal even standing there now, this is getting really hard for EnDerr to actually get any damage done.
Yeah, 3 more gateways in production, and Haas actually building an Observer and a Warp Prism after that first Immortal. And did he actually let Observer and then Warp Prism? So it looks like he's going to try and get a good idea of exactly what EnDerr is at, whether he's going to be doing a big push immediately, or whether Haas wants to be on the aggressive right away.
Well, some roaches popping out at the moment. More and more Zerglings. He has just given up on drones altogether with those 2 gold bases. I guess he really doesn't even need that many. Only 36, but a great economy right now for EnDerr still.
Getting us around on the Immortal, but the new barrier, so effective.
Yes.
Even against Zerglings Marines, these low damage units. It's just flat. What is it, 200 damage barrier?
I don't know the exact stats are the last thing.
There we go.
I know what it feels like when I'm attacking it or I am attacking with it. So, but right now we do see that Warp Prism flying around, seeing what kind of damage it can get done. More roaches on the way as well as that roach speed, of course, a very important upgrade.
Yeah, and under announcing the 3rd base going down for Haas, but I'm really expecting Haas to be going more for a push. And is that a complete wall off?
Oh my gosh.
It certainly looks like it.
I've not seen this wall yet,
yeah,
actually.
Neither have I. This is actually really good city by Haas, and he's going to get so many Zerglings here.
Wow.
None of them are going to escape.
Really well done by Haas, our
that is a
player.
huge catch. If those 20 or so Zerglings were with this push right now, it would be so much more scary.
Yeah, he's hemorrhaged a lot of units this game, I do have to say. Kind of an issue at this point. Moving forward now, these Immortals do have their shields up, so going to go ahead and poke those down a little bit. But look, EnDerr is losing so many units.
Yeah, and there's this incredible control by Haas. Those force fields perfectly placed. First defending the Zerglings and then pushing away the roaches. And that's a lot of roaches, but it's hard to tell. who's going to take the better trade in this fight.
Yeah, this is pretty hard right now. And in fact, on top of the sentries right now is EnDerr with this many roaches and lings. Going to be able to knock out quite a few of them. In fact, even this immortal should be going down.
Some really good control, though. He saves the immortal, saves the other immortal, saves 2 sentries.
That's actually a really big deal that you say that immortal. That was so low. One more volley and would have gone down, but that new warp prism, very good at helping you micro your units up.
Yeah, and Haas is actually at 14 workers now. So if he can make this push work and some really good control, lifting up more units with the warp prism.
Well, let's see if he can actually break through. Those immortals just being worth their weight in gold right now, warping in even more units onto the battlefield. Roach is going to have to run away. This gold base may be forfeit.
Yeah, it certainly does look like that. And EnDerr, if this gold base falls, he's only going to be on 2 base against it, and Protoss economy with so much income.
Yeah, this is a little bit rough. Those roaches already really bruised. The immortal being microed back at the moment. Some great micro here by Haas.
Really fantastic micro from Haas.
Ooh, throwing down
losing
those
very little, and EnDerr calls GG. Haas with a really strong push there.
Yeah, that was really good.
Really.
You know what? He had some really great defense against all of EnDerr's little attacks. And the thing is, EnDerr on the robo and at the wall and with that very first speedling run-in, lost 8 Zerglings. And then he lost about 20 more with those force fields at the Sim City at the ramp. If he had all those with his army, I feel like this game might go differently.
Or certainly, even if he had like a drone instead of building those first Zerglings so early, the ones that went after the robotics facility, if he had drone, he could have had roaches and maybe even a little bit more Ravagers out on the field.
Yeah.
That was just a strictly roach-ling push. Like, he was really heavily committed, so losing those Zerglings in the early game, like you said,
It's a pretty big deal, but I think that, you know, EnDerr, the type of style that he's playing here, being so aggressive, if he's a little bit more careful not to lose his units, like he's being very decisive, which I like, but Haas's defense, his defensive micro, is actually quite fantastic.
Yeah, Haas, being a really aggressive player, he shines in these situations where micro is really at the forefront and what he showcases the best. That's what he's good at. And so him being in that position where he's getting broken, he's in this position all the time when he's pushing the Zerg player. He's really comfortable in the spot. So I feel like if EnDerr's going to try and make this kind of timing attack style work again, he's going to have to go for something, like you said, a little bit more cautious, a little bit more patient, maybe try and hit with Ravagers and a little bit more slow play as opposed to something really rushing out like Roach Lane.
Well, the next map is Arena. So what are his options here?
Arena, it's the close air distance between the main bases makes Mutalisk transitions really good in the early game, and even things like spawning tools early because the short rest distance can be really good if you can deny the probe from getting a Paladin off to wall off, and even Ravager play at the third base is so strong, so many options.
Well, we'll see what he goes for, but first let's introduce our players. There is Haas, top left, our Protoss player in the red from Taiwan, leading 1-0 in this series, and of course his opponent from the Philippines in the bottom left, our blue Zerg, it is EnDerr.
Thought he might be going for a gas there, but instead
Yep, just a little bit of an extractor trick going on.
This is a really fast scout from him, too. I wonder what he's thinking at this point. Is this going to be a hatch block, maybe? Or is he thinking
could.
Maybe Haas is going to go Nexus first and he wants to block it?
Maybe just scouting as well. I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, and also I want to comment on this pile on the low ground. I've been watching a lot of Protoss player streams, and Haas had a really good Sim City in Game 1, and it is going to be a hatch block. But in I haven't really seen too much Paladin on the low ground on this map, in the early game at least.
Yeah.
So Haas coming out with some really interesting and creative SimCity.
Well, he already has a wall up to that hatchery, but that hatchery could become a problem. These proxy hatches can be a little bit scary, but with the forge and the gateway going up, I feel like this is a very safe answer from Haas.
Yeah, and those cannons are going to be really useful in the mid game too, if EnDerr decides to go for another push.
That's
so this isn't even the investment that he's going to be building with these cannons. It's actually not even going to be too much of money wasted just in getting rid of the hatchery, because they're really going to have value later on. And I think EnDerr knows that he's just going to cancel the hatchery. And Haas, he knows he wants a cannon anyway. He's just going to build that and then throw down his Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, he may as well. It is going to help him out in that mid game once again, but
he just built in the simulator. That's pretty quick. What is he planning with this pylon?
Really?
I would expect him just to expand straight away, but it's almost like he's one-basing from here.
That would be really weird with this forge opening, I have to say. I think that this... I mean, the gas is really confusing me from Haas. I'm not sure what is...
He's going to let the pylon finish. He's cannon rushing here.
Oh man, that's an SOS cannon rush if I ever saw one.
Yeah. Wow. It looks like Haas... I really thought he was going to try and go for a fast expand, but I guess after seeing the hatch block, he just decided he wanted to go for this instead. And he's going to let the pylon finish. He's really committing to this. One cannon going down.
He needs more than one here, though.
Yeah.
He actually starts his cybernetics core at home. I feel like if you're going to do this, you have to do it all the way. With this many drones attacking, this actually, I don't know that this is going to work. He's going to get good surface area on these.
Yeah, EnDerr can get 3 drones attacking the cannon, but only 2 attacking now. That cannon is going to complete. 3 is like the magic number if the cannon is almost like halfway done. You can get it canceled out. But
well, now we have Zerglings on it. So
that's right.
This rush for Ass is basically over. The cybernetics core just a little bit too greedy. If you're going to cannon rush, you've got to put the money in.
Yeah, and this is so much invested by Haas. The 1 pylon of the natural, or the 1 pylon of the ramp between the natural and the main base, the 4 pylons on the ground, the cannon's being canceled and denied.
Yeah, look at that difference in resources lost. This is a very, very late Nexus now. He does have tech up, though, so I guess let's see what Haas wants to do next, but right now I'm loving EnDerr's position.
Yeah, typically in the early game as a Protoss player, you're going to be a little bit ahead with Chrono Boost and the Zerg spending their drones on building extractors on building, spawning pools on building, hatcheries. They're going to be a little bit behind the working count. So EnDerr being even on the working count, even taking the 3rd base right now, with Haas's natural expand like not even halfway done, this is such a good position for him.
And look at this, just going to run by with a ton of Zerglings here. That cannon.
He's actually going to go for the cannon.
Well, I mean, he's going to get the cannon. There's no units on the way. He's going to be able to get the pylon as well.
Yeah, the mothership core coming down now. Haas is going to have to get pylons up to overcharge, but
this
EnDerr knows
this. Into a win, man. Like, this is so much damage already to Haas. He's lost so much.
I don't even know if he's going to be able to hold this. And even if he does stabilize, this is, like you said, so much damage. This is just a horrible position for Haas right now.
Well, the Zergling's coming in. He does use that pylon overcharge.
There's no pylon for the mineral line, and of course there isn't going to be. Like, how could you expect something like this coming?
Well, especially since he's already made like 9 pylons this game.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, this is such a tough position for Haas.
All right, well, he does go ahead and bring in more Zerglings to attack this other pylon.
Yeah, and sitting behind that 1 pylon is natural. And this is, he might be able to stabilize here with overcharge, but oh, that's still so many Zerglings.
He actually pins this Adept down. That's actually a pretty big deal right there. But, of course, the Mothership Core in the sky, raining down fire on these Zerglings.
That's some really good positioning with his Adept by Haas. And so many more cannons and pylons being destroyed and canceled, but he is going to stabilize. And that was a big commitment from EnDerr. He did lose all of those Zerglings. And the rare count, though, 10 up already for EnDerr. And he's just going to keep on droning 6 more drones in production. And Haas looks like he's going to try and come back with a Nexus. But EnDerr, on top of his game, he's going to scout this. And Haas has lost so much money just in canceled buildings this game.
Yeah, he really has. And, you know, I like the fact that he tried to, like, hide a Nexus, like, do something crazy to get back into it. But just gets even further behind having that found again.
In that position, that's definitely what you want to do. And EnDerr even with the 4th hatchery now. And he's building a Roach Warren, so it looks like he's mining a lot more gas. I think this might actually be a Roach Scavenger timing, or even just Roach and Seedling.
I think you're probably right about that, but he doesn't have any anti-air right now, so there's a possibility that he can actually do some good work with the Stargate coming up for Haas.
Yeah, this Stargate from Haas is so critical, especially after seeing the Roach Warren. This is a pretty early Roach Warren, especially considering EnDerr knows Haas's tech is a little bit behind after all that damage, and some really good damage coming down from the Adept. 9 drones going down, but Haas seeing this Roach Warren, he's going to see this and he's going to think, okay, it's going to be some kind of aggressive play, because EnDerr knows that I can't be on the map pushing him. This isn't a safety Roach Warren, this is aggression.
Certainly it is. Well, looks like we did have a little scuffle at that pylon. It does hold true, though. We have the Lings and Roaches coming up now. A lot of Lings and Roaches following up a few drones as well, as he did lose quite a bit.
And Haas actually building a Phoenix. That's not what I was expecting out of Stargate.
No, certainly not. Like, I guess it's okay to clear up Overlords, but
right now he has to be worried about this Roach Raptor switch. Like, he's even trying to take a 3rd base right now. And
yeah, I'd much prefer to see either a Void Ray or possibly even an Oracle here, but
it looks like he's just going to try and hold with Overcharge, but that's so many units. I don't think he could have been expecting this.
Yeah, no, I mean, those pylons absolutely not going to do anything here. He's just going to be able to pick those off very, very quickly. Haas in a lot of trouble here now.
Yeah, Voider coming up, but that's so many Zerglings, that's so many Roaches and Ravagers, and Haas is only on 1 gateway. He's building 2 more Stargates now. He can't defend this.
No, certainly not. These probes trying to go to battle right now, but it looks like he's losing quite a few of them. Some good messing up with the AI there with those probes, though. Does kill a lot of Zerglings, but the damage is being dealt here.
Yeah, this push is doing so much damage. He didn't really get the probe count that he might have wanted, but picking off the Mothership Core like that with some good corrosive vials is nice. And the Voider is going to come out, it's going to shoot these units away, but the probes are still vulnerable.
Well, he's going to go ahead, target on these Roaches right now. The corrosive vials trying to hit that Void Ray. Pretty hard to hit that, though. Easily can move out of the way.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to land a couple shots, take away the shields, but I don't think there's any way Haas is going to be able to stabilize here. The Void Ray is nice, but it's too little too late. I feel like EnDerr, with the early game aggression, he got so far ahead.
Certainly the case. Well, we do have another Mothership core coming out, so he can get some more pylon overcharges, but it's not going to be enough. 2 Void Rays going to town on these units. They can theoretically kill them all, but not fast enough before the damage is done.
Yeah, and it looks like this will be the game-winning push for EnDerr. It looks like he's going to tie this matchup 1-1. And so we will actually be going to Dusk Towers next. But you have to wonder what Haas is thinking right now. I think in the booth he must be considering, what am I going to be doing in this next game? Because EnDerr, game 1 and game 2, showcasing some really aggressive, really refined playstyles.
Yeah, certainly he did. You know, these proxy hatchery type things, once in his natural, one instead of gold base, getting himself into a position of bringing Haas down to his level, right? He's saying, this is the type of game we're going to play. And in the second game, Haas wasn't able to counter that.
Yeah, and especially like, even Haas being a really good player in those scrappy situations where kind of anything goes, being in a position where like your opponent is throwing down a hatchery at your expand, it's really tough in terms of like messing up your opening build order, because I really feel like it looked like Haas was going to go for Nexus first. And when EnDerr went through the hatch block, it almost seemed like he was like, okay, I'm going to try and do something else. Now that I have the forge, now that I have the gateway, I'm going to try and go for some really early aggression. It's like, it completely threw him off. It almost seemed like that wasn't his game plan from the get-go. So, little things like this that EnDerr is doing, just to throw his opponent off with the hatchery, like you said, at the gold base in game number 1, and then the hatch block in game number 2. Even if they don't actually do any real damage, in terms of throwing your opponent off his game, messing up his plan, because you know Haas has a plan going into every single map.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's tough, especially with the new expansion where you don't really have as much experience as you would like in Heart of Zeus form, where, okay, I played against this 5, 10, 20 times, maybe even tournament situations. Legacy of the Void is a very new game. The timings are very different. It's a lot easier to be messed up and tripped up in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Haas is trying to do too much there, thrown way off by EnDerr. Can EnDerr close out this third game, or will Haas, the favorite going into the series, get third place for his team in this country?
Yeah, and unlike the first team at France, Aerotism Arena, we have Dusk Towers, which is, in the map pool, one of the best macro maps. There's an end-based natural expansion, there's an easy third base to take, but we're going to see what happens.
All right, we have Haas up here in the top as Protoss playing for Taiwan.
Going for yet another wall-in. Not looking too shaken up by game 1 and game 2.
And his opponent down in the bottom with Zerg from the Philippines, it is EnDerr.
I'm actually really surprised we didn't see any kind of proxy gate play in this series.
Yeah,
I was
thought for
expecting
sure
at
that
least
we'd
one
see
game.
it once, yeah.
But instead, it looks like we're going to have a Nexus first. No gateway going down quite yet.
Yeah, it looks like both players just playing it a little bit slower to start in this game. No proxy hatchery by EnDerr, just deciding to get that very easy to take back natural.
Yeah, no drone scout coming in, but this isn't a timing that would block the...
That's actually a pretty big deal to lose that first probe scout.
Yeah, what did Haas actually see? I think he confirmed that there was no spawning pool. And I think seeing the drone scout, I think he knows that this is going to be some kind of macro play, but not knowing whether there's speed coming down or a third hatchery is a really big deal at this moment.
That's really important. And also, let's not forget there were 2 proxy hatcheries already. He doesn't actually know where the hatchery is. Even though he knows there's a hatchery somewhere, it could be anywhere, knowing this is EnDerr.
That is a very good point. And going back to the speed thing, going Nexus first, it seems like there are 2 very good options. You can go 1 gateway and just play a little bit more conservatively, save more minerals, hide some tech, go for a Stargate very quickly. Or you can go for 2-gate play, which is really good against opponents going up for 3 hatcheries, because you can chrono boost out 2 adepts. Like I said before, you get your gas out and your tech out so quickly, even with a Nexus first and Legacy of the Void. And so him not being able to read whether their speed could be missing a huge opportunity to be doing damage with the depths.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. But again, he lost the probe. He doesn't know exactly what EnDerr's going for. He does go ahead and send another scout probe and will in fact find that EnDerr is being really greedy. No gas being taken yet. And Adepts would have done a lot of damage. It's just not anymore. He's going to have plenty of time to get his speed up.
And so I'm curious now whether Hess is going to be going for a Zealot or not. We're actually seeing a lot of players building the Zealot in the early game and then pushing with a couple of Adepts and following up with an Oracle. But it looks like he's actually probably going to be favoring either a Stalker to push away Overlords or maybe some kind of Adept play. But look at EnDerr. He knows he's playing against Haas. So his Overlords aren't actually in the main base of Haas. They're looking for proxies on the middle of the map.
Well,
it's really cute.
We'll see. He's not going to find anything, but good to look for it, I guess, at least.
Yeah, there actually is going to be the Stargate going down. This is a main base. It's not going to be a proxy. Nothing too crazy coming down. And I saw, I think, Haas warming up earlier in the day, and he was really favoring the Phoenix play, like one Stargate, even going into 2 or 3 Stargate Phoenixes. And it looked like something he was trying in Game 2, so he might even be going for that in Game 3.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be very surprised, but look at this. Actually, a very quick macro hatch going down here for EnDerr.
Yeah, and I haven't really been seeing this too much. I'm not really sure exactly what the read is from this. Like, what does the 4th hatchery accomplish, do you think?
I think if he's getting the 4th hatchery, it has to mean that he's going to rely on speedlings, right? Because
yeah, that's a very
good point. You need the extra larva. It's like if you're going for anything other than speedlings, I don't think you actually need the 3rd hatch this early on such a low drone count.
Yeah, but EnDerr now finally hitting that stage in the game where he is going to pass Haas on the income. Going up to 40 drones now, and so we're going to see if Haas can actually do some damage with these 2 adepts. He showcased some really good adept control in game number 2, even after falling so far behind from the early game.
Well, let's see here. We do have some spores going up all over the place, as he does see that this is, in fact, Stargate Tech, and it is Phoenixes, as you called state. So we'll see how many Overlords he can clean up around this map, how much harassment he can get done. Yeah,
at the same time, Haas going for a really fast 3rd base, so he can try and do some pressure with adepts, try and kill some Overlords with Phoenixes, and let's see what his follow-up is going to be behind that on Tech. He's going to throw down more Stargates or maybe something else.
And Haas is going to go ahead and scout the fact that there is already a macro hatch up, which could catch him a little bit off guard here. But you know what? EnDerr is going to have the possibility of making a lot of units very quickly coming up. Oh, a couple of Adepts actually getting down here now with the shades.
Until this point, it's been such a great defense by EnDerr. No drones really going down, but now losing a lot of mining time in 3 drones. This isn't really the critical damage that I think Haas is hoping for, but I think he could be satisfied with this kind of harassment. Even 7 drones. I think he can definitely be happy now.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 drones here. And look at this, adding 2 Stargates. Haas going to go in Sky Toss.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Phoenix coming out of these Stargates. And this isn't a style that I've been seeing a lot in PvZ, but Phoenix is definitely really popular, especially considering how quickly Zerg players can be getting up to those mutas. And this might actually be a really good read, too, on EnDerr's playstyle, because like you said, EnDerr, having the 4th macro hatch, he's going to be building a lot of speedlings, and what's really good with speedlings? Mutalisks. So what we're actually going to see, what EnDerr's tech choice is behind this, and 2 evolution chambers going to be upgraded through speedlings, but we haven't really seen. That's a very fast late layer, actually.
Huh. Well, I'm not really sure what EnDerr's going for. Like, he finally does start zerging speed, but that seems like it's quite a bit late for having that 4th hatchery so quickly. But you know what? Anything he loses here, his economy is getting pretty nice. He's up to 54 drones. He's making more. He's going up into those 60s. And it has a lot of queens, so he's still all right. He can easily recover his economy.
Yeah, he also has spore crawlers in all of his bases. So these Phoenixes probably aren't going to be doing too much damage, and it doesn't appear like there's any more Overlords on the map. So unless you can pick off a couple, maybe drones mining from an extractor, although, yeah, there we go. Those extractors just now going down in the main base. With that many queens and those 3 spore crawlers, 1 in each mineral line, this is not a really good position for Haas to get damage to 9 more gateways going down.
That's a lot of gates. He's going like 10 gates plus 3 Stargate Phoenix right now. So EnDerr needs to start making lots of units. That's if he keeps making drones, he's going to be dead. But he has 64. You're never going to see a Zerg player go above that in 3 bases. So I expect to see a lot of units being made by EnDerr, and just in the nick of time.
Yeah, this is going to be a really creative timing attack from Haas coming out too. Like, the War Prism's going to finish, and it's probably going to reach EnDerr's base as soon as +1 ground weapons finishes as well. Those 2 synced up really nicely. And EnDerr taking a 4th base, going to Evolution Chamber and getting an infestation pit. I think he's misreading this. But he has no Overlords on the map. How can he possibly know what's going to come?
Yeah, that's very true as well. But you know what? Right now, actually a queen getting caught here, and
there's another queen.
There's
so many
Phoenixes. Transfusions, but
that's
a
lot of
spreading out his energy here. That's not enough Phoenixes. Actually, you have to not pick up every queen if you want to kill some, so you have firepower.
Yeah.
But I guess he is starting to cut through some of these queens.
Yeah, he's getting some of the queens now. But I guess with that many Phoenixes, the energy is not going to matter too much. And he is going to get all of the queens, so at the end of the day,
all right, so it did end up working. Could have been a little bit cleaner, I guess, but gets a lot of these queens, and that was really the bulk of his anti-air.
Now 10 Adept warps in, and they're in the main base of EnDerr.
Oh my god, that is actually
already across the map.
Big deal. And Speedling's running into this little area. That's going to be very difficult.
That's such a good position for the Adepts, and all of the queens are dead. He can't. Maybe that's why he was so committed to trying to pick up all the queens.
It makes
they can't kill
sense.
the Warp Prism.
And if you're going mass speedlings, you need a lot of injects. But how many queens does he really have left? Not that many.
That's so many warpins. 20 adepts now in the main base of EnDerr. And the queen's still getting lifted up. Well, this is an insane timing attack.
This has so many adepts right now. A ton of Zerglings coming in, actually getting some good surrounds now. The queens just continually get picked up. But let's not forget that larva count is falling because the queens are not around to inject.
Yeah, and the Warp Prism did go down, but these are 1-1 Zerglings. They actually might be able to clean up the adepts, and I'm not actually sure how many drones went down. It doesn't seem like a lot. He's still on 62 drones.
Yeah, he has a really solid drone count here, but look at the amount of overlords that he's now losing. Now we do have 5 infestors on the way, so a nice few fungal growths chained together on these phoenixes could make a big difference as well.
Yeah, and it looks like Hass's follow-up is going to be a 4th base. This timing attack not ending the game, but still doing a lot of damage. I feel like that was a pretty even trade at the end of the day. That was so many speedlings, and they're fully upgraded, so it's like, that's what EnDerr really wanted to be a core part of his army composition, but instead going for the Roach counterattack now. I'm not sure there's going to be doing too much damage. Hass, as we know, with so many gateways, already so many adepts as well.
And of course, these phoenixes can pick up these roaches unimpeded, be able to pick off quite a few of them as well.
Yeah, these roaches probably not going to be making it home. Maybe a couple of them, but it's a really close game after that push.
Yeah,
it looks like
certainly
Hass is moving out again. That's some confidence, man.
Well, you know, he does actually have a little bit of a supply lead here. And the thing is, it's mostly in Phoenixes. It's like Phoenix Adept, kind of a funny composition. But oh my god, this could be huge. A few good fungal
they're
growths
clumped.
here.
Oh, they're all clumped.
Oh, that is
Phoenix
a huge fungal. That could be a
That's
game
so
changer.
much damage.
He just needs to chain those all the way down right now.
And it looks like he's going to EnDerr with some really crazy fungals. And oh man, those Phoenix are going to get so low. I don't think it's actually going to finish the job.
Oh my god, they're so low. All of those
so
Phoenixes.
Low. But there's so many, he can lift up all the ants here. They're going to recharge your shields.
This is so brutal.
Oh, that was so close.
He almost killed every Phoenix. This game would be so different if he had one more fungal growth there.
Oh, but still, those Phoenixes being so low now. Oh, this is such a close defense.
That is a heartbreaker for EnDerr. One more fungal growth, all the Phoenixes fall. His queens don't get lifted. He does a lot more damage here, but look at this. He still has so many lings and roaches, he's actually still cleaning it up.
Yeah, these adepts do have +1 ground weapons, but they don't have the attack speed upgrade, and the attack speed upgrade on adepts is huge. And actually, Ultralisk's already entered the fray, and I don't think...
Adepts going to have a hard time against that.
Adepts are certainly going to have a hard time against the Ultra, but also you have to consider there are no Immortals on the field, and Phoenixes are not very good against Ultralisks.
No, Phoenixes against Ultras, that's definitely one of the great mismatches in StarCraft too. But you know what? This is a really crazy game right now. EnDerr really pulling out all the stops this game.
Yeah, and Hass now seeing the hive. He has to be thinking this can't possibly be Ruralist. It has to be Ultralisk. He needs Immortals in this position.
Yeah, he really does. And if he doesn't get any, he's in a lot of trouble. And look at this. We have 7 Infestors out right now.
He's going to pick up the Infestors.
Oh, man.
The Phoenix is getting their revenge.
Yeah, they certainly are. That is so painful. What's the story of the Infestors versus the Phoenix of this game is just painful all over the place for EnDerr. He did so much damage to them. They're all deep red right now. If only it had one more fungal growth.
Yeah, and these Ultralisks moving across the map now. This is really heavily upgraded Speedlings, heavily upgraded Ultralisks, and Hass, I think, only has Adept, 1 Sentry, and 9 Phoenixes on the map. And that's not really the unit composition that you want to have against Ultra Link.
Even if you have full energy on all those Phoenixes, it's not going to be able to stop this army. So here we go. It looks like we are going to have an attack going in now to this 4th base of Hass. Those Ultras going to be MVPs.
Yeah, Hass in a good position with the Ultras doing so much splash damage now. Those Adepts just getting vaporized, and EnDerr getting pushed back, but at the same time, the 4th base is going to go down for EnDerr.
Oh, really good move there by Hass. Very important moment, and he is starting his first Immortal. You know, I gotta say, actually, I'd like to see some Void Rays pop out, just because he has
a really good point. Yeah, and he's completely controlled the anti-air out of EnDerr as well.
Yeah.
EnDerr invested so much in the Infestors. All of the Infestors got picked off, and so many Queens have fallen too. Even if EnDerr had the creep spread to be doing a push with Queens and Ultralisks, he doesn't have the Queens anymore. He's been reproducing them, and he only has 3 on the map now, and only three hatcheries mining. He needs those current jets.
Well, let's see what happens here. He is moving in now with these Ultras, going to go ahead and start attacking in. We do have Immortals starting to pop out. We have a lot of Photon overcharges going out. 1 Ultra does end up falling.
So many Ultralisks at 4th base attack now.
That is pretty insane. Look how quickly they can kill off those Adepts, dealing huge amounts of damage.
This 4th base is going to fall. There's no way he can hold this. both players creating really heavy blows right now, and we actually see a Dark Shrine coming down from Haas. And consider, EnDerr has very little anti-air,
and
true. Haas has so many Phoenix.
That is true.
We might see something reminiscent of Phoenix or DT Corsair.
Yeah, really. That definitely
Phoenix
could be
DT
the case
might
here.
come into play.
I mean,
and only 2 Immortals on the field. That might actually be a second choice, but this is so many Ultras pushing the third base of Haas.
Dude, this is enough Ultras. I think he can actually bust this. I mean, these pylons starting to go down. He's throwing down some pylon overcharges. It's not quick enough. The Immortal's going to end up falling very, very quickly as well. And EnDerr might be getting a huge upset here against Haas.
Yeah, his third base is going to fall, and he's going to get into the main base very soon. Only one Zealot. 4 DCs being warped in now, and there is no detection. So these DCs will be able to clean up the army, but Haas taking so much damage.
Well, a lot of DTs coming in, no detection there. Oh, he might actually just clean up everything.
He might lose everything.
In fact, I think he will lose everything here. We still have 9 Phoenixes out. How are you going to get detection in? He's going to lose all of his units here.
They can't get... Oh, he's blocking the ramp.
Oh,
the
my
can't
God.
escape. Everything's going to die.
This could be the sickest comeback from Haas to be able to take out all of these Ultras right now. The economy of EnDerr is not very good either.
Yeah, consider... EnDerr's third base is almost mined out, and he's only just now building that 4th hatchery. It just started, and his army just got completely wiped.
I can't even believe this game that I'm seeing right now. It's absolute madness.
9 Phoenixes on the map.
Oh,
9 Dark Templar. Oh, the Infestors. That's a good fungal, but he's going to be able to lift up the Phoenixes.
Yeah, he really is lifting up quite a few.
The Infestors.
The Phoenixes, actually, some of them going down. It's a little bit sloppy right now.
Yeah, that's a really big deal, losing those Phoenixes. Only 4. That is not really enough to be able to snipe a large number of Overseers. So Phoenix DT probably not going to be able to come into play. But right now, it's still such a tough position. Like, EnDerr's army... I don't really know. This is crazy.
This is a wild game, no doubt, and we're kind of in that funny position. This is actually kind of reminding me of the Archon show match we had last night, where it's like we have several different huge swings and unit compositions, and then suddenly both teams have like no money left. They're trying to take new bases, trying to figure out what's left to do here.
Yeah, and even more drones going down now for EnDerr. It looks like EnDerr's going to try and push the third base pass, and I think this is a really smart decision, knowing there are only really Dark Templar on the map. And with fungal growth, being able to see the DTs, and then also, so many Infestors. Even just infested Terrans would be really hard to deal with Overseers.
That's very true indeed.
And 3 more Ultralisks in production, and Neural Parasite.
Parasite.
What are we going to see from this?
Uh-oh, we just saw a bunch of Dark Templars go down. Only 1 Dark Templar left. Haas has almost nothing left here. He's making some
morphing them into Archons.
Uses a lot of his energy there. I think that was a little bit too much.
Only 100 energy left. If Haas just waits out, or if EnDerr just waits out the next one on overcharges, but actually he's just going to push this. Lots of infested Terrans going down, and that's only 4 Archons.
Yeah, the Archon's actually being fungled there. One of them falling down already, taking a lot of shield damage there on them right now. We do have the Phoenix come back. Can't really do very much. 3 Archons, all that he has left. He has to evacuate this area.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get the space up, and he only has 19 probes, and almost all of them are here, and 3 more Ultras coming on the map. It looks like EnDerr's actually going to be able to close this out with an upset.
And GG, EnDerr taking 3rd place in StarCraft for the Philippines. A huge, huge finish for him.
And a really big upset as well. I think almost everybody watching this match was thinking Haas,
for sure,
has got to have this.
Haas is a pretty famous player, to be honest, as far as time of players go.
He's quite accomplished. He's making Premier League.
Yeah.
One of the best players one of the best players in Asia outside of Korea, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely the case. As you can see, he's in this 4th place match. He's done very well for himself this tournament. But at the end of the day, EnDerr takes him out 2-1. It's a really big deal for EnDerr. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, this is a really interesting series, too. Both players playing completely unorthodox styles.
Yeah.
Like, even though Legacy of the Void is a new game, there still are trends in the meta, and it feels like both players are playing completely outside of those trends.
It's certainly the case. And as you see here, Dust Cowers, our set 1, went to Haas, and then EnDerr cleaned it up 2-0 from there. Some really cool play by EnDerr. Very aggressive, some big switches, and definitely a fun series.
Yeah, it's definitely a really interesting series, too. Some really cheeky play coming out of EnDerr with on game 1 and Prion Terraces moving out with the proxy gold base, middle of the map, and then the hatch block in game 2, and just everything about the series, almost everything went exactly as you wouldn't expect it to.
Yes.
I think going into the series, we knew these players were really aggressive. We knew they're both unorthodox, but I wasn't expecting something quite like this.
Yeah, no, I definitely did not think that the games would look like this. I knew they'd be crazy and wild and back and forth, but definitely exceeding my expectations. So we only have one match left in StarCraft 2. Unfortunately, guys, that will take place tomorrow, and that'll be Mystery against Cyril, a Protoss versus Zerg match to end out the IESF World Championships. Who will win? Will it be China or will it be Finland?
So I'm not going to be here for the broadcast tomorrow, so I have to ask you now.
Yes.
Between Mystery and Cyril, who do you think is going to take it?
I'm leaning towards Cyril. The first time I saw him play, I believe it was at DreamHack Bucharest a few years ago, and I was just caught off guard with how strong this young Finnish player was. I think that he is a real talent rising up in StarCraft 2. And I can see him possibly taking out Mystery, despite the great play Mystery showed earlier.
Yeah, Mystery showed some really good games against Haas in the semifinals. Some really aggressive games, too. So I'm interested in seeing how the finals play out. I'm going to go the other way from you. Yeah. I'm going to take Mystery to win the finals. But
all right.
Considering the way EnDerr played today, I think they're going to be some pretty wacky games.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely a very fun finals that we're going to have tomorrow, guys. So make sure you tune into that. But that's it for StarCraft. That's it for us today. We're going to go ahead, jump to a quick commercial break. When we come back, League of Legends.